syncing up, so we'll be on our way shortly.
Ahoy, shipmates. And welcome to another soggy evening in the port of Southampton. According to the weather forecaster, this could be the last soggy day for some time. Don't know if you heard that on the radio. The radio's gone a little weak lately. The information from Britannia was that moving shortly, and she's slightly off to the right-hand side of the screen at the far end. Docks. All those little chaps out there in their sailing dinghies are going to have to watch out. I'm not sure what they are. Maybe lasers or toppers or something. So Britannia will leave first, up to the upper swing ground. She'll turn round, so we'll get a nice 360 spin. 80, I suppose I should say. And then Britannia will come past us, and then I would imagine, just as she's going off down Southampton water, Iona will depart. Originally, they were both scheduled to depart at 6, which would have been the more interesting. Fine, this works. Ahoy to all the shipmates on board. Welcome aboard. Well, if you're new to the channel, great to have you. I see from many of the shipmates that the weather is equally dull. Oh, ahoy there, shipmate. Ryatherton, welcome aboard. If you are enjoying the channel, do think about subscribing and a notification bell, and then when we've got a live stream coming up, you'll be notified. Yes, I see there's a bit of chatter for the Red Eagle, one of the ferries. I had a bit of ferry confusion yesterday. One of the ferries broke down shortly the VTS, that's the local vessel traffic services, saying that Britannia is shortly away from 106. As I was saying, Garth, looking through your comments here, it appears it's reasonably wet and windy most places, but I did see someone say it was sunny somewhere. Where was that then? James Bridge, ahoy there, shipmate. Sunny from Swansea. Well, you're very lucky, because this looks to me very much like Swansea weather. I have a knack of every time I visit Cardiff that it rains, whatever time of the year. Ahoy there, John Bike Rider. Permission to come aboard granted, shipmate. Actually live in Southampton, but you're not going out in this weather. Oh, ahoy there, shipmate Paul Turk, and welcome aboard. Oh, ahoy there, Emma Harrison. Oh, ahoy, shipmate Cara Smith. Welcome aboard. And ahoy there, Christopher Melling. Welcome aboard, shipmate.
Go ahead.
I'm not sure what's going on with the radio.
Okay, that's understood. The pilot's aware. Thank you.
Oh, ahoy there, shipmate John Milner. Welcome aboard. Thank you for subscribing. Oh, ahoy there, shipmate Robin Rees. Glad to have you aboard. It looks like they're just clearing the Oh, there's shipmate Ronald Davies. Welcome aboard. We should be seeing the Britannia in a few minutes. Oh, Oh, ahoy there, shipmate Tim Maynard. Welcome aboard. Unfortunately, she's right at the far end of the dock. Oh, ahoy there, shipmate Jake. Welcome aboard. And ahoy there, shipmate Barry. And ahoy there, shipmate Anthony Denning. I appreciate all these new shipmates subscribing away. Oh, ahoy there, shipmate Andrew Merman. Doesn't leave the channel. And ahoy there, shipmate Chris Hamill. Ahoy, shipmate Eileen Urban. And ahoy there, shipmate Lee Lockwood. Looks like the dinghies have... And ahoy there, shipmate the Animal Seeker. Have a look, the dinghies are still bobbing around. Oh, with a shipmate Arthur Level. Great to have you on board, shipmate. Not sure I won't be out on a dinghy tonight. Oi there, shipmate Joe McIntosh. Just going to check the shipping movements. On ahoy, shipmate there, Alan Harvey. Got the local harbour masters just coming back up. Oh, ahoy, shipmate Billy Fitzgerald. Glad you could make it on board. Haven't heard yet if the Tanya has let go or not. Oh, and ahoy there, Captain Charisma. Some chap there bringing one of the fastest dinghy. And ahoy there, Anthusa. If we see anything yet. Oh, ahoy there, shipmate Tina Beatley. Oh, ahoy there, shipmate Joe McKean. I'm getting all the names pronounced correctly. Oh, ahoy there, shipmate Alan Pike. And ahoy there, shipmate Craig Bull. Just looking through here was Rebecca Holmes. Ahoy there, shipmates. Do they have passengers on board? No, they don't have passengers on board at the moment. And ahoy there, shipmate Richard McNeil. I have to turn this off. This is rather more enthusiastic than I was anticipating. Oh, and ahoy there, shipmate David Mottram. Oh, on the other hand, though, we can't see any ships at the moment anyway, can we? So, too much of a difference. But no passengers on board just yet. Oh, ahoy there, shipmate Kevin Halen. Welcome aboard. The first ship out last week was the MSC Virtuosa. Oh, ahoy there, Steve Jones. She was the first passenger ship, and she went out again last night in equally awful weather. Oh, ahoy there, shipmate Robert Good. She also went out underneath some rainbows, which were really good. Just to see some rainbows. Oh, ahoy there, shipmate Mike Slater. Still haven't heard on the radio yet whether or not Tanya is singled up or not. We'll have to wait until we hear something on the radio. I listen to the radio from the traffic control services in the port. It's a great way. Oh, there, shipmate Tracy. That's a great way of finding out what's going on. You can actually buy these radios fairly inexpensively. I'm actually thinking about doing a review because quite a few people ask me about that radio and what they can listen to when they're in port. So I might well do a review on them because you can actually buy them from Amazon relatively inexpensively. Oh, there, shipmate Stu Gill. Welcome aboard. Still waiting to hear from the radio as to if there's any Britannia action. Nothing on there as yet. And ahoy there, the Goddard sisters. Welcome aboard, shipmates. Ahoy there, Steve F. from Wigan. No telling of the weather information in the Wigan, but I can imagine it's pretty poor. It seems to be pretty poor across the whole country. And ahoy, shipmate Paul Higley from North Baddesley. Oh, ahoy there, Nick Fulligan. Welcome aboard. Still waiting just at this moment for information on the radio, actually. To see if Tanya is singling up. I can check her position on the map, but she's still there. I did hear that she was just about to leave. It shouldn't be too long, I think. Better see her on the right-hand side. And of course, once Britannia's left, and she'll probably be somewhere over there on the left-hand side of the screen, there'll be time for Iona to leave. Again, no passengers on Iona. All the ships at the moment are just going to be passengerless. I think it's the first Iona one is somewhere in the region of August the 7th or something is the first Iona one. The first Iona passenger one. It's when a lot of the cruises will start up in the next few months. But at the moment, the MSC Virtuosa seems to be the only one travelling with passengers on board. Oh, ahoy there, shipmate Kenneth Grindrod. Virtuosa made it to Plymouth this morning and then turned around in Torbay and gave the passengers a view of the liners there. What combination that, isn't it? A cruise ship journey and you get to see other liners. That's brilliant. I say I'm quite interested in going on one of these cruises. And the little boys there in their dinghy, they're still there. They're still in their dinghies.
Yes, red on.
I don't know if you heard on the radio because for some reason it's gone really noisy lately. I'm going to blame it on the weather because since it was really wet and windy, it seems to have got really noisy. But I'm looking at getting the external area to improve the quality on that. But Britannia is away, moving. Yes, she's away and moving. So she's just off to the right. In fact, I think we could just see Britannia coming through. It's a long way to the other end of the port, and this building the camera's mounted on sort of curves around. Lots of different angles of the port, but there we go. We can see Britannia's on the way. The Britannia and Iona are actually very similar looking ships. I don't, as a sort of bit of a layman. They're both white with the Union flag and blazoned across the bow. They're quite different in sizes. And, of course, operated by the same company. Britannia is off to possibly one of those wonderful Weymouth bays again, or maybe as far as Torquay. Be off and down the Chowder, stretch her legs for a bit. Something I learnt recently is that the cruise ships can only generate water when they're steaming. So when they're at anchor, which is what they tend to be doing at the moment, they can't generate water. The engines have to be hot and running, and then they can fill up the tanks. Stephen Joy, one of our excellent spanner crew, going to Weymouth, Britannia and Iona. So of course, if you're down that way, or if you're on the next cruise on the MSC Virtuosa, you'll get to see them all down there. Oh, with there, Robert S. I didn't catch how many crew are on board. Was someone listening to the radio? Or my radio's gone really fuzzy. Have you found that, Robert S? Robert S is one of our local guys. He normally listens to the radio. Maybe Robert can fill us in on any missing information. Oh, with there, Mr. YHA. Yes, she's going to English Channel and then down to Weymouth, or along the south coast somewhere. Britannia is getting on for how old's Britannia? Completed in 2015, so I suppose you could say maiden voyage in March of 2015. So 7 years, I suppose. I think I'll turn the radio off now because clearly we know Britannia is on the move. Yeah, it's been a terrible couple of weeks worth of weather here in port. It's been wet or raining, or windy and wet and raining, and not been able to get out and do much droning. But I was fortunate enough this morning to get out, and the old steam tugs in port, in fact both of them, but one of the steam tugs in port is being moved up to a shipyard up the river Itchin, the Cowshot tug, going to be worked on by a company up there who's, I think the company's purchased the tug and going to do a bit of refurbishment work. Apparently it's not in a very fit state. The MCA, the Coast Guard Agency, declared it unfit in 2019. So I did manage to catch a bit of that this morning, so that was quite good. But the droning has been annoyingly few and far between. MSC's maiden departure, didn't drone that. Didn't drone Iona's maiden arrival. I know there were a few lucky shipmates out there who managed to get some good photographs from Townkeep here, or from their drones, so that was quite lucky of them, but it was a tricky weather-wise. Me, like, there might be a few shipmates on the balconies as well. Yeah, I would say there's a few people on the balconies. Maybe we'll get a few waivers. We had our first waiver from a cruise ship who was actually a subscriber to the channel. Like shipmate Pete there, who's just subscribed. Welcome aboard, shipmate. The first wavers we had from the ship with big yellow hands were the cruise ship monkeys. I have a YouTube channel all about travelling on cruise ships, and they did some reviews of Virtuosa. Have a look on their channel. I'm sure you can find something interesting if you want to see what it's like inside. Unfortunately, I don't get to go inside. But I have been talking to a couple of shipmates who are on the ships, the cruise ships, and they have promised me we'll be get on board at some point. The only problem is, due to all this COVID regulations, it's none of it's easy. So it might be some time before I get on as a little trip to the bridge. There's a container ship at the back there, the Lifeboats, I think that's how you pronounce it. Shows you just how big some of the container ships we get in port are. In fact, the largest container ships in the world are shortly to start arriving here in port. We used to have lots of magenta-coloured cruise ships from the One Ocean Network Express line, but unfortunately they've rerouted and they're now going to Tilbury docks in London. We're getting HMM range, which is a disappointment, I will say, because I do like the magenta-coloured container ships. Nothing better on a horrible grey day, being a lovely magenta-coloured cruise ship, a container ship. On the other hand, though, the HMMs, they are the biggest container ships in the world, and second, one of the seconds, there's many that are the same size, but one of the second largest container ships in the world is the HMM Southampton. That'll be quite exciting, because I'm pretty sure she'll come into port with a water salute. As long as it's not raining, things will be good. The container ship is right behind. As you can see, Britannia is almost as long as a container ship. Britannia is 330 metres long. Yeah, so the Britannia is 400 metres long, but the Britannia is 330 metres long, and the Lifeboats is 400 metres long. There we go, I got them out. Britannia's just started a swing now. I know it looks deceptively like the bow of the ship is going to take out all those yachts, but it's actually surprisingly quite a long way between those two. The Britannia is about 2 miles away from this camera, so I know it may look a little hazy at the moment, but that's because drizzle and rain in the air. Down to atmospheric conditions, the quality of the picture. Capacity on board, of course, of 3,647 passengers and a crew of 1,400. Not at the moment. No passengers on board. I didn't know what the crew was, so I've missed that. I've forgotten to stream. Maybe Robert told me. Robert, tell me how many crew are on board. I can't see. Typically, there's been sort of somewhere. Oh, here we go. I found it now. 1,150 on board. Well, that's almost a full complement. That's almost a full complement of crew on board. Typically, when during the lockdown, we've been having just the ships coming out of port with anywhere from sort of 100 to 200, but around about 150 most of the time, passengers, crew on board. But now that the ships are beginning to come back into service, the crew numbers are building up on board, just waiting for those just to arrive. No, thank you, Robert S, for that. Oh, ahoy there, John Powell. Good question here. Does the pilot go all the way to Weymouth? No, the pilot will be dropped off at the Nab anchorage. It's just to the east side of the Isle of Wight. he'll jump out there to a little pilot boat, and that'll take him back into Portsmouth. Oh yes, and then Dean Willis has already replied in the chat. Thank you, Dean. That's the trouble with this chat here. So many knowledgeable shipmates on here. I've got to watch my P's and Q's, otherwise my P&Os. Otherwise someone will correct me, which is great, I suppose. Everyone is an expert on something. Ahoy there, Bev Gibson. I hear there's going to be a heatwave coming. Forward to a heatwave. Absolutely, shipmate. Oh, ahoy there, Daniel San. Yeah, our regular viewers. MSC Virtuoso was on the One Show. And Emma Cruises. Ah, okay. Well, I shall have a look on BBC iPlayer. I know Emma Cruises has been sending me some pictures. Or rather a picture of her Instagram or something. I must say all this new media is confusing. Be about 14 to get to understand it all. Ahoy there, Fly Sky Drone. Thank you for the compliment on the coverage. Fly Sky Drone, if you're interested, he did take some pretty good footage of the Iona arriving. I think he took it over from Hythe. So if you fancy seeing some different view of the Iona arriving, have a look at his channel. The grass here in Mayflower Park is looking really nice at the moment. Put that down to the fact we've had a lot of rain lately. The gardeners were just in today mowing it. Rusty, my dog, was very appreciative of that. I think he likes grass is a bit shorter. Oh, ahoy there, Breeze 147. If the yachts weren't there, it'd be much easier for the captain. To be honest, not really, because there is a lot of space there, and where the yachts are is fairly shallow water. I'm going to be taking something with a draft of... What's the draft of Britannia? I'm just going to look it up. Draft of 8.5 metres. So yeah, you've got a draft of 8.5 metres. You're not. You're a little more careful when you're turning. I can definitely see a number of shipmates there on the starboard side. I hope there's an equal amount of shipmates on the port side. Of course, we're just waiting after Britannia's gone out, because then Iona will be leaving here. There's Iona. She's just down in 46 berth, I should say, at the ocean terminal. And then Britannia now is at the far end, swinging around, heading towards us. She's going past the City Cruise Terminal and the New Horizon Terminal, which was named in a competition. Fortunately, like I say, you can't see either of those terminals. They're just off to the right-hand side. I am endeavouring to increase the camera footage. I do mention it a few times. To people, if you do know of anyone who would like to host a camera in a location that would be appropriate for some good footage of the Solent area, or beyond for that matter, just let me know. I'm more than happy to expand the network. I'm in talks with a few people at the moment, so hopefully we'll get some more coverage. Oh, with their Breeze 147, how long will it take her to get to Weymouth? That's a good question, actually, because she won't go directly to Weymouth. Britannia will go down, up and down the Solent, up and down the Southampton. Oh, my word. That's a busy day working. I'm worn out. We'll go up and down the English Channel for a little while, building up some water, generating some water. Then she'll dock probably tomorrow morning. See, now you can see the problem with this camera location, that the Britannia's just disappearing behind the edge of the building here. And there really is quite a number of shipmates on board. Like I say, as Daniel said, there's 1,000 and something, and they are in the passenger cabins. Normally they'd be down below in the crew cabins. I'm guessing if they're empty, you might as well enjoy the passenger cabins. Oh, Robbo, if you haven't done any voiceover work before, you'd be great. Fantastic voice. Well, thank you, shipmate. I certainly know how to make the captain blush. No, I have done a little voiceover work in the past, as it happens. Not a great deal, but a couple of radio adverts. All work for a computer games company. Oh, just random things, really. Oh, Breeze 147. Doesn't sound like much of a cruise, does it? Well, it's not much of a cruise. Breeze 147. But don't forget, shipmate, there are no passengers on board. No. We need a crew. Oh, ahoy there, P&O Productions. How do you get permission to mount your cameras? Ask nicely, or something more than that? Asking nicely, the current state of affairs. I don't... all I'm asking is for permission. All I need is a little bit of electricity, hardly any. A bit of an internet connection, preferably, but not necessarily. And just permission to screw it to someone's building. There's 3 or 4 people I've spoken to. I'm just waiting to hear back, so it's sort of slow, because... that's just slow, I guess. I don't know why. But I can offer someone who comes to me and wants a camera, they'll get a lot of traffic to the camera, which if it's suitable for their business, then I think it could be good advertising. So I think it's a win-win situation for both of us. We get to increase the coverage, cameras, and they get increased publicity for their business. Oh, ahoy there. FP30E, why not fill it with fresh water in port? That's a great question, shipmate. My understanding is it's not designed to work that way. Because normally the cruise ships are moving all the time, so they just generate it on board. And of course, imagine if you're at sea for days on end, you need to be able to generate water on board. So because of that, they don't have a facility for topping up. It's not like pleasure craft, which are only out for a day or two and they just top up with the water. Although if you do have a large pleasure craft, a lot of those have water makers on board. You want to be carrying around tons and tons of water if you don't have to. Getting closer now to Mayflower Park. Mayflower Park, of course, named after the Mayflower ship, which sailed to the New World. And this year was the 400th anniversary. Rather unfortunate. You all know there was a pandemic came in and a lot of the celebrations were curtailed. There were all sorts of things going around town. There were artistic endeavours, plays, performances. It was really a really thorough programme by the council. They even refurbished one of the monuments. Yeah, I was quite impressed. Fortunately, it all got cancelled. Some of it was virtualised, but most of it got cancelled. And it does appear we have shipmates on the port side as well. I don't know if we'll get any waivers. I have had some comments in the past from crew on board the ships saying, I was on that ship when it came out. Also had quite a few comments from parents who say, watched my son's ship come into the port. I really enjoyed it. I never thought about that, but if you're living on the other side of the world, I suppose it's quite nice to track your children. Now, hang on, that sounds rather furtive, doesn't it? No, it's great to be involved with what they're up to. Oh, with Aaron, what computer game did I do the work for? Oh, gosh. It was a early noughties game. Honest, I don't even really remember what the platform. I think it was PlayStation game or something. Or no, actually, tell you what, it was probably an Xbox game. What it was, and it was something like something to do with secret agents. So it was like Red Secret or Secret Red Agent or Incident Red or something like that. I might recall what it was. Ahoy there, Kraken24. Your wife's great uncle was on the Titanic and survived. Oh, that's a story to tell, isn't it? Who hasn't heard of the Titanic? See quite a few shipmates on board. No waivers, though. They're waiting till they get closer. There, the white building that you can see in front of us here is the old entrance to the Royal Pier. It's now converted into an Indian restaurant, and in fact, it's an award-winning Indian restaurant. Last couple of years, they've won many awards for best Indian restaurants. If you do get yourself into Southampton, I can recommend that. The chap in there, Mr. Cootie, actually has a cellar, salt room, a meat room with walls made of salt. And it's curious, doesn't it? That is how it works. Apparently that dries the meat out, cures it. I think we see a waiver. Briefly saw a waiver then. Down here, wasn't he? Down near the bow. There he is. I think he had his torch on his phone. See if he's wave again. Will he wave again? Come on. Having a smoke. Yeah. Zoomed in on that. YouTube. Overzealous about things like smoking. Probably won't like me mentioning rum on the channel either. I will get in trouble. Seems to be a passion of mine, getting into trouble. Oh, I think in reality, I think you're probably fairly happy you weren't going out on the cruise tonight. Weather's not... Although you would be having a good couple of days next week. That is flip side. I don't know if you heard that. That was the hooting from the Britannia. And that was some reciprocal hooting from the Iona. Tricky to catch the sound here in port. A lot of traffic noise here, so I'm different placements for different types of microphones to maybe get a better sound balance. It looks like a black and white Where's Wally up there as well. Give us a wave, Wally. Now you can see these are obviously orange lifeboats on the bottom, but this one here with the big windows on the side and the one next to it, they're the tender lifeboats. They're actually used to transport passengers to and from port when conditions allow. Some ports don't have enough space. Such large ships in port, so they have to dock outside, drop anchor. and they shuttle the passengers in using the tender lifeboats. I think you get quite a good view here. How big these cruise ships are. Relatively large buildings here on Town Quay. It's the cruise ships really dwarf them. And the other day, Iona came out of her berth, just turned round and went back in again, probably to check lifeboats, because they can only really check lifeboats on one side at a time. They can't drop them into the water when they're against the dock. Probably went round to check the lifeboats. But you could see, compared to Queen Elizabeth, that was also important, how big Iona was. I think we can't really get a comparison because they're not going to leave quite together. But I think as Britannia gets further down towards Iona, we'll probably see quite how big Iona is. Looks in proportion, looks very much like Britannia, like I say, with the Union flag emblazoned on the bow, but a considerably larger vessel. I noticed before, because my cruise cam here, I had to change the angle of the camera slightly to make sure I could get Iona in. She just looks a little bit bigger, a few more levels, a little bit longer, a little bit wider. Much, much bigger. Oh, ahoy there, Ali French. Question from a shipmate. Why are the ships going to be moored at Weymouth? Well, if you're moored in ports, it's relatively expensive. Been led to believe it costs potentially somewhere in the region of $50,000 pounds a day. Whereas if you can drop anchor in Weymouth Bay, it's free. I believe the cruise ship companies just opt for that as effectively what they call a warm layup. And they can keep the costs down, and the crew can keep busy, and that's why they lay up in these sheltered bays along the south coast. I must also say the bays are quite pretty as well. Weymouth's quite pretty, and down in Torquay, so not a bad place to be. However, if weather changes and storms come in, they will pull up their anchors and steam up and down the channel. Being at anchor is fairly dangerous when the pick up. There is such a thing as a cold layup where they completely turn the ship off, take the keys away. But I'm led to believe that takes a lot of effort to get those ships back into functioning order. Much easier to have them in a warm layup. And I'm guessing also they really didn't know the scale of the stoppage was going to be. I mean, nobody did. They affected all sorts of businesses. Knowing how long it's going to take to get back to normal. So this is the main part of the port now. The Britannia will be heading to the dock head, restricted to speed here of 6 knots. Although when Virtuosa left on her maiden passenger voyage, actually went quite a bit faster because it was a really windy day. Ship has more control if you're slightly faster. It sounds peculiar, but not a lot faster, but just enough. And you can just see now that Britannia's getting close to the stern here of Iona. I know there's a sense of perspective here that's probably distorting your view, but I think you can see that there are many more decks on Iona than there is on Britannia. It'll be nice to get back to the proper cruising, and there'll be lots of happy passengers on these ships waving away, rather than, I'm not going to say unhappy crew, but that's not fair. I imagine the crew are quite happy being in the passenger cabins with a better view. It'll be nice to see some wavers and some better weather, of course. I say the perspective of the camera is slightly distorting what you can see, but I think you can get an idea of the comparison here of the two ships. Now they are relatively similar in design, but quite a bit different in scale. And rather unusually, Britannia is actually one of the few ships we see in port that's registered in the port of Southampton. Most of them seem to be registered in destinations unknown. There's one island, I can't remember the name of the island, rather a shame. There are quite a lot of ships, many commercial ships seem to be registered, and the island is smaller than the ships that are registered there. Find amusing. Britannia now reaching the dock head. One of the ro-ros in port we have here. This vessel carries cars. I shouldn't say cars really, I should say wheeled vehicles. So it's cars, all trucks, agricultural machinery, road laying equipment, JCBs, diggers and all those sort of things. A lot of exports here from the port of Southampton. Then a little red and white ferry. Bottom right hand view picture is the Red Kestrel. That's a freight only service to the Isle of Wight. We do have a massive variety of ships here in port. I think that's one of the beauties of the port of Southampton. I think I said the other day we have everything from super yachts to tugs to the biggest container ships in the world, the biggest cruise ships in the world. I was going to say last time, I think I did say last time, that we don't have much in the way of military, but we do actually have the Marchwood docks opposite, so we do get the odd one in. It's not quite like Portsmouth. Bit of a shame we don't have anything super large military wise coming in, no aircraft carrier. But apart from that, I think we have an amazing variety of ships in port. Old ships, steam tugs, hovercrafts, even have hovercrafts coming in and going. So this is Iona, so we're just waiting for Iona to go. We will shortly see Britannia passing from behind, coming out from behind Iona. Probably, actually, conditions seem to improve, so we should be able to follow out for a bit. And we'll keep an eye on Iona. The rather fetching yacht down here in the left-hand corner. This white one here is the super yacht Zen. just been delivered to a new owner this year. I think she's in port for a little while. I imagine she's getting fitted out, navigational equipment or something along those lines. But there is owner, and this is the ocean terminal. So if you're coming for a cruise, leaving from the ocean terminal in the port of Southampton, shipmate, you'll be in an excellent place for me to zoom in and see you waving. Check up on the crew here. So there are some crew. See the lines. Looks to be happening shortly. Oh, if you need to make yourself a cup of tea, shipmates, I would probably suggest now would be a good time to nip out and have a cup of tea. Oh, ahoy there. Shipmate Amy Yeomans, welcome aboard. And thank you for subscribing. Thank you to all new shipmates who have recently joined. Great to have you on board, and it certainly helps the channel out. We'll expand that network together. Not just the static cameras here, I do make some drone films as well of things going on in and around the port of Southampton. Take some pictures. And not bad pictures as well sometimes. There is not much control I have over the conditions. Ships arrive when they do. Can't control the timing. I can't just decide to go out when I feel like it. But it is surprising how often when the ships arrive, conditions are phenomenal. They've had some fantastic sunrises and sunsets. If you'd like to see some of my pictures from my drone videos, they are on the Instagram account, so it's Ships UK. Or if you join the Patreon, you'll get access. Well, and if you become a patron, that will also support the channel and help buy some new equipment, and buy some more cameras that we can maybe get to one a little further down towards the Isle of Wight, and one on the Isle of Wight. I think that's the objective of them. Get one on the Isle of Wight on Cowes. That means we'll have excellent coverage. Ahoy there, Carl Hanley. Is there a departure soon? Yes, there is. The ship you're looking at, the Iona, will depart in about 5 minutes. Very shortly we'll see the Britannia come out from behind the bow of the Iona.
VTS Freedom, singling up on 35, now underway in about 5 minutes. Freedom, VTS, thank you, just to make sure that you're definitely in the bound, traffic change for yourself, cruise to depart. VTS Freedom, all copy, thanks, break, Red Eagle, Freedom. Right, Bobby, we can 7-4 with the tokes if you need.
I don't know if you heard that, sir. That's another Ro-Ro carrier. It's like this red and white one over here called Freedom. That is just behind the bow of the Iona. And she's just about to depart as well. It certainly seems to be something that happens in nothing happening for hours on end, and all of a sudden 3 or 4 ships all leave at the same time. And it's not due to the tide either, because the tide doesn't play a part in the ship movement here. It's ports that's unaffected by the tide. There's a shipmate there on the bow of Britannia, the bow of Iona. They're so similar, I'm confusing me already. Notice the radar is not fired up on the front, but particularly necessary. It's not that foggy today. can see Britannia is moving nicely down Southampton water, down towards Cowshot's bit, and visibility has improved. Indeed it has. We couldn't see that earlier. See, up there, that sort of turquoisey blue colour, that is one of the local tugs. I'm not sure which one. Could be Lomax. Well, a fetching colour, I think they are. Almost the same colour as my font. Shipmate Stanley Conan. Welcome, shipmate. Welcome aboard. Did have a shipmate on chat the other day from the NTI, which operate a tower at the end of Cowshot. He said that he should try and speak to someone and see if we can get a camera down there, because that'd be a great location. Ahoy there, Robert Bowler. You've started watching the ships passing Leon Solent. Yeah, you get a good view from Leon Solent. Yeah, Vessel Finder. Yeah, using the apps these days, it's much easier to know when ships are coming or going, rather than randomly going to a ship spot.
Outward bound traffic, the total tanker Boeing and the Torpo. Both pieces are outward bound.
Yes, and you can make sure you time right. That's interesting. That ties in with Fly Sky Drones question. How do you know that they're coming in or out? Well, there's a couple of methods I use. VTS is the Vessel Traffic Services for the Port of Southampton. They have a website, Google VTS Southampton, and they list all the up-and-coming movements, arrivals, departures. It's a great place to start. But unfortunately, it's not always terribly accurate. If, for example, if it says a ship's arriving at 9 in the morning, it may not arrive at 9. I tend to use some ship tracking apps as well. In fact, if you go to SolentShips.com, you can view my ship tracking app, see where the vessels are. And you could just see that in the distance, that sticking up object, the NCI tower, National Coast Guard. I'm not sure actually. It's a great location. That would make a marvellous location for a camera. That would be able to view up Southampton water and pretty much all the Solent, all the way over to Portsmouth, to Cowes, obviously, the Isle of Wight, and then all the way past the Isle of Wight, almost down to Allen Bay, I would imagine. That would be a phenomenal location. If you are enjoying this channel and you'd like to see me install a few more cameras around the place, a Patreon page for donations, and also a PayPal link for donations, and any money received goes straight into new hardware. The odd bottle of rum, of course. Couple of vessels there, you can see the sort of red and yellow one and the white and blue one. They are tankers at the Fawley Refinery. Fawley Refinery is a large supplier of high quality fuels. Ahoy there, Kraken24. He watches the ships from Hamble Point. Good for you.
Thank you. Further traffic point approaching at 10 miles southeast and that's our inward bound Portsmouth. Pretty region has feedback.
Not sure what's up with my radio. Something's not working. It was working really well, and that recently just seems to...
Evening to you. I'm sure to go to stations portside 246 berth, 8.5 metres, bound for Weymouth, 463 plus 1 on board. I don't know, the freedom is just letting go from 35 now. and the inbound ferry. We've got the Red Eagle just past Lake Lake. She's on the red, bound to the blue line. We'll then wait till she's past 40 on the way.
There we go. I hope you heard that, shipmates. It was VTS is a bit still rather staticky, but Iona was singling up, ready to depart. 400.
Ready on VTS. I don't know if you copied that one. The Iona is going to wait for you to pass, so you can keep going. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, just spoke with the ambulance 2 and they are...
That was the VTS talking to one of the ferries about their movements. It gets rather congested here in port, so it was important that knows what everyone else is doing. Make sure they keep on the right sides. Ahoy there, Martin Tate. You're on a cruise in December. Can't wait. There's quite a few shipmates going on in December. Where is your cruise in December, Martin Tate? Is it another British cruise, or is it further afield? Is it one of those ones that goes to Liverpool, maybe? Oh, ahoy there, shipmate Andy Cam. Welcome aboard. Thank you for subscribing. Oh, interesting question here from Tim Young. Well, ahoy, shipmate. What's your favourite cruise ship? Oh, that's a really good question. That do you know what? I probably don't have a favourite cruise ship. Probably whichever the last one I saw that I took a really good photograph of is my favourite one. Actually, yes, no, that is it. When I'm out with my drone taking photographs, probably whichever I got the last photograph from that I really liked, the cruise ship that I like at the time. Yep, that's my answer. Oh, hi there, Brenda Strait. Can't wait to have a camera at Cowes. Perfect spot. Yes, I totally agree. Totally agree. Cowes will be great. Oh, Mr. T, lucky pirate. Ship has a captain, but a boat has an angry husband. Oh, that sounds about right. Ahoy there, Heather Norris. I'm cruising to Liverpool on my narrowboat in August. Okay. Where are you taking this narrowboat? Are you going up the Irish Sea? Wow. I know there was a chap who took his narrowboat across the English Channel to go to the French network. Never seen a narrowboat in the English Channel, but I believe it can be done. Well, they're rated for Channel. Perhaps it's close enough to... Sure. Imagine the roll on a narrowboat at sea. Could be horrendous. I don't know if you can see just in front of the bow of the Britannia there, that very faint object moving along is in fact the ferry from Portsmouth to Fishbourne on the Isle of Wight. Hybrid model. That's nice, so visibility's not so bad if we can see the ferry there. Iona is going to station, so she'll be off shortly. Should we check? Let's check back on Iona, shall we? Have a look before I spend too much time ferries. No one on the balconies on Iona. All the lines look like they're still in place as well at the moment. Gonna get a really good view of the bow here. They're all just waiting there. I just see the tug in the background. That's moving off one of the rows to its way imminently. Well, I see they do actually, once they get to it. I noticed when Iona went for her little turnaround the other week, they actually get the lines in pretty quickly. Quite impressed how quickly they came in. Oh, they're Nick Judge, Leeds and Liverpool Canal, I suspect. Okay, right. Excuse my ignorance of inland waterways. Not that familiar, but probably try way across. That's certainly been an adventure, going on the inland waterways on a canal barge. Oh, ahoy there, Jacqueline Fry. 17 weeks to go. Spain and Portugal. Iona. Okay, so that must be one of the first cruises that are not in the ports. And back to the ports, actually to a foreign destination. I can see some lines coming in now. Spotted that. Picking the lines up. It's certainly one thing I have noticed here with Iona. See, makes sense, is the vessel is looking really clean. Everything is just freshly painted. Even these openings here where the lines go through, they all look shiny and stainless steely, and there's no rust dripping off them. It's really nice to see. Boy there, Jonathan Gladstone. Are passengers on these ships? No, no passengers on these ones. There could be, but P&O have not decided to sail yet with passengers. First one, I think, is 7th of August for Iona with passengers on. I think that's one of those trips around the coast and maybe up to Liverpool. Seems to be a popular destination at the moment. Check on the other end of Iona as well, because there are lines on both ends and all down the side. It's very important to keep an eye on your lines actually during the night. There'll be many watches where they will inspect the lines and the tension, because as the tide's coming out, the vessels go up and down, and you can't have too much tension. Bad thing, you can snap lines. Too little tension, you may float away and make an ship bash into the quay, which you also don't want. Careful balance. There only seems to have been the one line taken in so far. Taking their time, perhaps. If you have a look back on port cam, we can actually see there's a couple of chaps down there. They'll be on the shore. They're going to release the lines when it comes to it. Oh, there, Joseph Goodett. Where would the furthest place to mount a camera be? Oh, that's a very good question. I don't think I have any limits. Want it reasonably within the port of Southampton, Solent area would be a good start, but we could go Portsmouth, no problem there. There's a lot of traffic in Portsmouth. Where probably the next place would be Tilbury Docks. There'd be a fair amount of traffic in and out of Tilbury. Maybe Felixstowe. There's quite a bit of traffic in and out of Felixstowe. Well, we could go anywhere really. All my cameras are remote controllable, so at the moment I can just control them from wherever. Got an internet connection. Oh, I can see some lines coming off at the stern now. Check the bow and see if there's any lines coming off there. Initially, when I installed a few of the cameras, there were a few technical difficulties, but they've all seemed to be ironed out. I really don't need to physically visit the camera. Most of the times they're mounted in places which are terribly convenient anyway, on top of buildings. Out of the way. As long as I've got an internet connection, I can control remotely and reboot them, so be anywhere. Even have one in France, I suppose. But that'd be quite a trip, wouldn't it, to go and install that? Oh, with there, Nigel Lewis. Why not many Viking cruises go from Southampton? I couldn't tell you. I don't know. Tilbury would be good. Yes, I was having a look at Tilbury the other day. I do think there's a potential for a few cameras in Tilbury, or at least one. Again, I'll need to approach some people, but not everyone's keen on a camera. I know you all are all keen, all you shipmates. Average person's not. Looks like the line's being pulled up here. Ahoy there, Ayrton Shepherd. Could I have one in the port of Dover? Yep. Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm pretty game to have them anywhere, really. Sort of actually probably reminds me of something I've been meaning to ask everyone. Haven't got round to, but I will probably put a poll up on YouTube at some point. There's a section where you can post images and polls and little snapshots and things. Considering maybe changing the name of the channel. I like the name Silent Ships, don't get me wrong. Great name. I just think it's potentially limiting if I start putting cameras outside the Solent area. That would then the name sound a little silly. So, thinking perhaps of changing to Ahoy Shipmates. My catchphrase. And would be more suitable for cameras in other locations. Still nautically framed, but a different name. Ahoy there, Ginny Bennett. Do I have wipers on the cameras? I do not have wipers. There are models of cameras with wipers, which I have looked at, but they are considerably more expensive than the cameras I am using. I've resisted, but I can imagine that a location that would require a camera with a wiper on, I'll probably buy one. Oh, ahoy there, MD. Who is doing the voiceover? Lovely, soothing voice. Well, thank you, shipmates. That is I, myself, the captain. See, the lines are coming up from the stern now. I think that's one thing I have noticed compared to some of these smaller ships. The number of lines securing the vessel to the harbour. It is quite impressive. The bigger the ship, the more lines. And of course, it totally makes sense. But until you actually see the web of lines going to shore, you don't realise how many there are. Because we've had a lot of wind lately, of course. To make sure your vessel's tied up. Shipmate Robert S. He's got the radio on and he's informed us that Iona is just about to let go. Imagine there's just only a few more lines left and she'll be pretty promptly coming out of port. I saw somewhere. Oh, ahoy, Kraken 24. Where are you based? I'm based in the port of Southampton, shipmate. life very convenient for me for my droning. I walk down to Mayflower Park, or sometimes I take the motorcycle over down to Cowshot. Had some great shots of ships coming past Cowshot Castle early in the morning. Lovely shots. The Zen super yacht the other day. And when Iona comes back in again in a few days' time, hoping I'll get down there again, get some shots of her coming into port. One of my favourite locations. You get to see the Isle of Wight in the background, Cowshot Castle, Cowshot Spit. It's really close to land as well. It's also a good spot, shipmates, if you want to do a bit of ship spotting. Nick Churchill, how about a camera on one of the cruise ships? Quite a few of the cruise ships do have cameras on board. I'm pretty sure they won't want one of mine, which is a shame. Bart Vogler, is there a port cam at Dover? I don't know. I haven't looked, but there could well be. Ships Cam UK? Yeah. I want to broaden my repertoire. Just ships, really. Water-based. Lucy described the channel as being, so I mean, it basically will be covering a lot of ship activity, but I'd like to just keep the word ships out of the name. So I like Ahoy Shipmate. Very fitting. Still a couple of lines on the stern. A little bit of activity at the bow. The shipmates there on their radios, discussing what's for dinner. Be pretty decent, and they've got fresh supplies on board. Now, ahoy, there's Steve Miller. And Steve Miller says that the ships pretty much all have their own webcams. That's what I suspected. Probably want to use it for their own purposes. Didn't want third party like myself on board. Never mind. We'll just persevere with our static land-based cameras. Joseph, good at camera at Cowshot? Yes, I'm working on that one, shipmates. That's one of my destinations to get another camera in. Oh, Hawkins. Oh, shipmate. Love the channel. Excellent, shipmate. Glad to hear. Oh, there, George Lance. Bedbridge would be perfect. Get all the way to Southampton and Portsmouth. Yeah, I agree. There are a lot of locations around. I've been looking and I've been in contact. It's just a very slow process. Still, just releasing the lines at the stern. Oh, it looks like the off is soon. Oh, ahoy there, Mark Welch from Oklahoma. Ahoy, shipmate, and welcome aboard. How's the weather been in Oklahoma? Any tornadoes yet this year, or is it too early for tornado season? I can't remember. Oh, ahoy there, MD. Obviously, George Lance has given you a tip on ship spotting. Excellent. Oh, I didn't see what George Lance said, but I'm sure it was good. Always good information. I'm constantly impressed by the shipmates aboard this channel. Quality of information is excellent. I think the last couple of lines are coming up now. I can sense a small amount of movement. Most imperceivable. Isn't it? Looks like Iona's going forwards on port cam, but backwards on cruise cam. That doesn't make... I know there is a big delay between the cameras. That's happening. Maybe it's just the angle of the cameras. Oh, ahoy there, Myra Stewart. Is Svitzer Harty and Svitzer Alma there for Iona? Not that I'm aware of. I think they've just finished with one of the Ro-Ros that's gone out. The cruise ships don't need tugs. If wind conditions are high, then there'll be a requirement for tugs to assist in berthing. But most of the time, they haven't needed tugs. And in fact, you can just see the Ro-Ro disappearing in the distance. That's the one that's just left. Super Yacht Zen still there. Super Yacht Zen actually came out the other day when Iona was turning around. Why she didn't come out again this evening? I think maybe they were a little worried that she might get dented on the first arrival of Iona. Gave her all the space. Definitely some backwards motion there now, although I still see those lines. No, they pulled them up at the last minute. There we go. And there we go. The Ro-Ro disappearing down towards Cowshots. Of course, Iona, named after a Scottish island. And again, another Ask the General Public competition. Named the cruise ship. All the entries submitted, Iona was chosen. Serves me, I think, some region of 32,000 entries. Iona's a rather good name. Definitely making some. Unlike Britannia, though. Oh, actually, I can see some people. Not as many though as Britannia, though. There was a lot more in Britannia. Although there's not many crew, is there? There was only 400 and something, I think. Britannia seemed like a really big compliment. Full complement of crew. I think I'm half inclined to say that I think I saw these people the other day when they came in, actually. Funny, wouldn't it? Guessing that's one of the more expensive balcony cabins. And there must be a fair number, of course, on board, because the capacity for passengers is 5,206 passengers normally. And normally, there'd be somewhere in the region of 1,762 crew. You may be thinking to yourself, it looks like Iona is moving forwards. And yes, shipmates, she is moving. Switch over to port cam. You can see against the dock that she's moving forwards. This will be part of the manoeuvring strategy. Like cars, ships manoeuvre slightly different ways, and sometimes you actually have to go forwards to get a better angle to go backwards. It won't be much, just a little. Oh, ahoy there, cruise monkeys. I see the cruise monkeys are aboard. How was your cruise monkeys? The cruise monkeys were had the excellent opportunity to be the passengers on the first voyage of the MSC Virtuosa. More importantly, they were the first waivers on a cruise ship on the Channel. Don't forget to put that in your bios, cruise monkeys. How was the MSC Virtuosa? I don't know if you caught that. That was the horn from the Iona, signalling that she is berthing. All ships communicate each other with their horns. Number of blasts. 8. Tensions for the ship. One for starboard, 2 for port, if I remember correctly, 3 for going astern, and 5, my favourite one, your intentions are unclear. If you're out on your boat and you hear 5 blasts, you are definitely in trouble. Like seeing those blue flashing lights in your rearview mirror. Gives you the shivers. Whoa. I think surprisingly, these ships pick up speed really quite quickly. It's quite impressive. We'll just have we have a great look here at the wing bridge on the Iona, and we can see some officers there. Could be the captain, could be the pilot, be the navigator or first officer, who knows. Certainly have a great view from there. That's probably next goal for the channel when conditions resume. Get on board to the bridge somewhere. The question is now, of course, now that the Iona is reversing out, it has 2 options. One option is to reverse all the way round the corner of the dock head and then steam down Southampton water. The other option is to spin around here and go straight out. I don't know which one she'll choose. I'm discovered what mechanism requires the ship to do one or the other. I'm going to go for it because there's not a lot of wind. You can see the windsock here, just bottom right hand corner picture. I'm going to suggest that she'll spin where she is. But I'm not putting any money on it. I play bingo on Ferry Cam. Played it twice and I haven't won, so no win, my luck's out. It does look to be a few of the crew on board are out on their balconies. They've nowhere near as many as we had on the Britannia just a second ago. Get a crew wave. I think the chances are not very high. Why is no one looking at their smartphone? Whenever I look at people that are always looking at their smartphones, why aren't they looking at their smartphones now? Oh, that one chap is in the white t-shirt. He's on his phone. Yeah, surprisingly, quite a few of the balconies occupied. You're actually travelling, shipmates, and travelling to exotic climes. Well, it's sunnier. Better give us a wave. Oh, ahoy there, shipmate Andrew P. Bowers. Kind donation of $1.99 to shipmate. That'll go towards the new camera fund. I do have a few more locations for cameras in mind. Some of the cameras are actually very reasonably priced, and others are less reasonably priced, and some are quite expensive. But it's all about knowing where to put them, where to put the camera, which camera for which location. Oh, ahoy there, News Girl 100. Lovely for the crew to get a little bit of luxury. I would think so. I would think in normal operation, the crew wouldn't get a chance to experience the passenger cabins. Quite nice for them. Not the best evening for Southampton view. Heard earlier from a couple of ferries here. Seems like the two ferries just waiting and one about to go. Iona has been quite a landmark in town. If you're walking through or Southampton or driving your car, it's very obvious to see Iona. Towers rather large above buildings in the area. Some of the smaller cruise ships that come in, sort of the Queen Elizabeth of the world and the other rather explorers and some of those the like, they are noticeably smaller and not as visible. You don't seem to see them. But the Iona, you really can't fail to miss. Very much like the other ones, we had the Anthem of the Seas. There's a couple of the seas, and they are even bigger. For instance, the gross tonnage, the Iona, is 184,000 gross tons, where I seem to remember the Seas, the Anthem of the Seas, and such like, they're somewhere in the region of 230,000. So they're quite a lot heavier, bigger again. They are noticeably large. That's one of the red funnels parking up. Bank holiday weekend next weekend, and the ferries are all booked. The one's going to the Isle of Wight. I think that probably coincides with half term, doesn't it? And normally ferry terminals are incredibly busy around the school holiday period. And normally, as well, the ferry has a terrible habit of breaking down during the busy periods. Oh, ahoy there, Tony Pierce from Vancouver. Lovely city, Vancouver. State of British Columbia and Canada there, and the Pacific Northwest of the United States. Vancouver was voted quite a few years in a row as one of the best places to live, the highest quality of life. It was a good balance of wages, costs of property, lovely weather, good lifestyle. It came up really high up. I'm pretty sure it was number 1 or 2 quite a number of years, Vancouver. Oh, ahoy there, Mr. T. Oasis cruise ships, 230,000 gross tons. Oh, so there we go. I thought it was in that region. Ahoy, Joseph Gillett, didn't a ferry get stuck on a sandbank outside Cowes? I'm not sure a ferry got stuck on a sandbank. Certainly one of the ferries in foggy weather ended up taking out a few yachts, getting stuck. And I believe that the Marine Coast Guard Agency, the MCA, that are responsible for investigating these accidents, reported that the ferry captain disagreed with his navigator, said, "I know what I'm doing, I'm a ferry driving god," and then promptly crashed into some yachts. So even a seasoned sailor can be disconcerted by fog. There's a large glass dome on top of the Iona. I think that covers the swimming pool complex. If memory serves me correctly, I've not seen many pictures of the inside. So, seem to do cruise ship YouTubers get on there. Should watch some of your videos, get a feel for the insides. Oh, sorry, shipmate. Yes, I know your province. Sorry, I thinking of all American. Yes, not states, provinces. The province of beautiful British Columbia. Oh, Daniel Sand thinks that the QE2 got stuck on the Bramble Bank. Bramble Bank is out in the Solent between mainland and the island. What the ships have to drive around. Zigzag round it. Occasionally it can provide an amusing game of cricket when it's the lowest tides of the year, and just typically the weather's good. A game of cricket is organised between the sailing clubs, cows. Go out there early in the morning and play some cricket. Yeah, have a look on my drone on my channel. Actually, there's a drone video of that I went to a couple of years ago. It may well be on again this year, so if it is, I shall probably go across. In fact, if it's on again this year, maybe I could live stream it. I do plan to do a bit of live streaming from a boat. I was planning on it when Iona was arriving, but the weather was not very good. I was planning on it when SC Virtuosa was leaving, but the weather wasn't very good. I will try get some in. Try to expand the technical capabilities of my network. I do feel like an outside broadcast. Or local television station with Eye in the Sky and Man on the Quay. Oh, ahoy there, Emma Cottingham from Weymouth. Forward to seeing Iona in the next few days. Yes, I believe you will. And Britannia, I think she'll be in Weymouth as well. Ahoy there, Mackley. Nice SMR voice. Shipmates. Glad you think it's the tone of my voice that puts people to sleep rather than the content of my narration. Either way, I'm not offended. Provide a service and put you to sleep. So, valuable for some. Ahoy there, Nigel Lewis. Do you remember Ocean Village? Yes, I remember Ocean Village. The days. In fact, I was talking to a fellow shipmate the other day about the lack of amusements in Ocean Village like there used to be. Oh, ahoy there, shipmate Keith Strugnell. Many thanks for your donation. I shall be putting that towards the new technology. Luckily, I haven't lost any drones lately. Although when I was out the other day, I've had a couple of near misses lately with oyster catchers. And oyster catchers seem to be the prey of the drone world. I've seen quite a few other droners lose their drones due to oyster catchers. I don't know why the oyster catcher has a particular problem with a drone, but seem to. Oh yeah, I'm always slightly wary now. I'm in tune with the call of the oyster catcher. I can hear it a long way off and I'm very nervous. So far, I seem to have avoided a... Ahoy there, underwater bubbles. Do I have any plan to have any drone footage? I take a lot of drone footage. I can. Also, like I say, also planning on live streaming from the drone when I'm doing one of my live streams. I probably can't do it for the berth that Iona's in at the moment, as I'm out on the boat. But if I'm Mayflower Park, I can do it from Mayflower Park. And next time the weather's good and there's a cruise ship going out with passengers, I'm going to get the navigator. She'll come on board and help steer the cameras while I go out, try an outside broadcast with the drone. I think it's going to be possible. Bit of a technical challenge, could be a few gremlins. Hope you'll bear with me. Could add an element of interest. Oh, ahoy there, Bug-Eye. Now I'm talking about the Hogasaka. There is a interesting video about the Hoga saga on the MCA, the Marine Coast Guard Agency's YouTube channel, and they explain what the problem was. It was to do with the ballasting of the ship correctly loaded. Apparently they didn't use the computer correctly to log the balancing, so it just balanced it incorrectly, and as it went round the cowshot spit it was fine at 10 knots. Then as Ogasaka went round Bramble Bank at 12 knots, a little too fast, and leaned over. Ahoy there, Kate Tinsley. Missed so many cruises, looking forward to Iona on 14th of August. Should be a good cruise. I believe that's the second cruise on Iona with passengers. I'm sure that'll be a wonderful experience. All shiny and new. Oh, ahoy there, shipmate Andrew Man. Many thanks for your donation. Donations greatly received. Going new camera fund. I just need to find more destinations for installing these cameras. Occasionally when the ships have turned around here in the morning, when they've come into dock, especially in the summer when it's really sunny, when the early morning sun coming up, you can get the sun reflected off of all the windows at the side of the ship, and it makes for some wonderful pictures. Hopefully there'll be some opportunity to catch some of that this year. Oh, ahoy there, Harry Emery, waiting to drone it currently from Hamble. Oh, good luck, shipmate. I hope conditions will be in your favour. That no more rain. It's still looking dry out there at the moment. Getting a little dark though. I don't know what drone you're using. I always struggle personally to get decent pictures once it gets a bit dark. You can take some reasonable still photographs. Tricky with the video. The video just doesn't seem to come across when it's really dark. Oh, ahoy there, Stew's Tube. Many thanks for your donation. Much appreciated. Not Stew's. Oh, maybe it's Stew's or Stuss Tube. Names rose a challenge. Ahoy there, Tracy. Oh, many thanks. Many thanks, shipmates. Ah, DJI Air 2S. Well, that's pretty good. It should be quite sensitive in the low light. Should be alright. See, Iona is carefully turning here, really taking her time. Earlier on in the week when she turned around, definitely took her time. I think as such a large vessel and the crew knew, they're being very careful. Oh, ahoy there. Oh, Harry Emery is going to do a bit of droning down the Habble. He's going to go for photos rather than video. Yes, I would say it's a good call. Because it is, 10 to 9 now. We're past sunset and it's very cloudy. My experience, photographs come out quite well. Especially if you take them in RAW, of course. Woods. Editor. Oh, ahoy there, shipmate David Roach. £3 donation. My mum and fiance Alison. They're watching as well. Important to thank one's mum, I believe. Certainly, if you take your pictures in a RAW format with your drone and take them into an editor of your choice, you can imagine what magic you can perform. I think it looks to me as though Iona has finished turning. Just about to move forward. Forward motion there. To Jigglesworth. Nice ships, but my idea of holiday hell. Could be, but it's nice that we all have options to take whatever holiday we like. I think a destination somewhere in the Mediterranean would be probably up my street. Although I have heard that some of the cruises up to the Scandinavian area are quite interesting. A friend of mine took some cruise in Norway. Not quite what he was expecting. He was expecting, I think, to see the fjords on a nice cruise ship. In fact, the ship he was on was probably better past a glorified ferry. Ah, an interesting experience. Oh, ahoy, shipmate Keith Walker. Donated £5. Many thanks, shipmates. Much appreciated. Put that in the fund. Oh, ahoy there, shipmate Lizzie Lou. £5. Keep up with the great footage. Many thanks, shipmate. Oh, ahoy there, shipmate Robert Bro. £83. Many thanks, shipmate. Fantastic channel. Me and my mum love it. Looks like I'm really appealing to the mums. Great. As I was saying earlier, the Britannia is registered in Port of Southampton, so is the Iona. So this is unusual to see Southampton registered ships. Well, I think it's pleasing. See these magnificent ships, some sunny clime of the world, and the word Southampton blazoned on their stern. That's certainly one thing I've noticed as I've travelled around the world. Seem to know the name of Southampton. Sometimes they know it football club. More often than not, they know it ships. Titanic. Particularly surprised travelling the Far East, actually, how quite popular because the nickname is Saints. That translates quite well. One of the features that Iona has that Britannia doesn't have, Iona is powered by LNG, liquid natural gas. And it provides a cleaner burning solution, more environmentally friendly. I think we're just going to catch the light here. It says the light is failing, but I think we're just get a follow out while it's still light. The cameras work really well in the dark, but so in the light with a bit of colour. Oh, ahoy shipmate Kim Colby. Many thanks for your donation. Oh, ahoy shipmate James Cooper. Many thanks for your donation as well. See a few chimneys in the background there. That belongs to Hawley Refinery. See some of those tankers later on. Oh, Joseph Gillip. Ahoy there, shipmate. Interesting question. How are LNG ships fueled? Very good question. I do not know, but I'd imagine pretty much in the same way that a regular ship is fueled. Have a bunkering ship come up and bunker some LNG. But it's a good point, because obviously there's not a lot of LNG going on, although the CMA CGM Jacques Sard is also an LNG-powered container ship. So they must have made visions. Oh, actually, I don't know. I shall investigate, shipmate. I shall look that up. Spend some time trawling around the websites for the manufacturers of the technology used on ship. You can create papers and medical information. Can be a bit of a dry read, but you normally get the answer you're looking for. Yeah, Iona now will be approaching the dock head. Be time to increase speed from the limitation of 6 knots in port here, and she'll open up somewhere in a region of probably 12 knots down Southampton Wharf. Oh, ahoy there, shipmate Martin Tate. Donated $9.99. Many thanks, shipmate. Oh, I didn't see that message. I will message underneath that. What if I can... Oh, here we go. Looking forward to spending time with the missus and his mum on the Iona in December. Oh, thank you for the Christmas present. Yes. Thank you very much, shipmate. Well, just give us a wave when you're out on Iona. seems to be the mother's favourites, the Iona. That makes much sense, but it'll be a lovely ship to travel on. See, look, they're starting to turn the lights on the side of Iona. So there was a chap who was going to take some drone photography down near Campbell. Can't remember your name. I think you probably get some good shots, shipmates. A few lights on the ship and the sort of fading light. It should look good. Not too dark that you can't see anything, but not too bright that you can't see the lights. Pretty good. Fortunately, there's just a couple of grain silos here at the dockhead. Iona will have to travel behind. But the Roro has also left from earlier, so it's giving us a clear view of Iona all the way down to Southampton. Visibility looks adequate. Oh, ahoy there, Emma Harrison. Many thanks for your donation. Much appreciated. I think if we go back here, I believe it's those blue sort of aqua things. You can see those rectangles. I believe they're the infinity pools on the stern of the Iona, which allow you to swim and see the ocean beyond. Oh, ahoy there, Leslie Taylor. Many thanks for your donation. Most kind. I think that's probably what I would look forward to most. Floating around in the infinity pool. Yeah, gin and tonic. Oh, no, sorry, gin and tonic. Oh, I washed my mouth. That was so with a rum, of course. Gin and tonic's just for emergencies and lubbers. What you also get this end of the port, shipmates, are brand new cars. Looks to me like a whole car park full of middies. These will be exported. I think it's the minis that actually arrive on train. That's pretty good for the environment, isn't it? Manufactured in Oxford, and then I think they come down by train, loaded here to the car parks, and then onto the Roros. Managed to get a fantastic picture yesterday evening. Oh, saying that, it's actually quite a bit of a sunset going on. It has some great sunsets in Port. A little bit of a sunset behind there, behind the Al Nafayed. Oh, ahoy there, shipmate John Taylor. Many thanks for your donation. Very kind. As I was saying yesterday evening when the MSC Virtuosa left, we had some sun and some showers and pretty windy still. But we've got a small rainbow. I actually managed to get some footage of a rainbow, the bow of Iona. I was making that little video this morning and I ran out of time and waylaid with work. But that'll be coming soon and I'm pretty sure you'll like that. It's only very short, but it's just really pretty. It's in fact not even a rainbow, it's a double rainbow. Hey, what's going on there? Oh, ahoy, shipmate CA. Many thanks for your donation. Very kind. Oh, I've been led to believe that there are pigeons nesting on top of my cruise cam. I think that's what that was. It just flashed by the screen. Go and install some anti-pigeon paraphernalia. That large chimney you can see in the background is part of the now unused, being decommissioned Fawley Power Station. The chimney was planned to be knocked down a couple of years ago, and then last year, and I think the current plan is to be blown up this year. So we'll have a fantastic view here on cruise cam of the chimney being blown up. Also, I plan to go down and drone that one, and possibly live stream from the drone. I can find out when it's happening. Right, I shall carry on following the Iona past Fawley, because it looks like visibility has cleared. We can see it down to the Isle of Wight. That in the background is the Isle of Wight. There is a fantastic control centre down at Fawley Power Station. It's circular. It's been in many films. It's been in the Mission Impossible films, the latest Star Wars films, and the Rollerball film from the 70s. Very, very picturesque. No, sorry, not picturesque. Very stylised, very futuristic looking, and especially considering it's just a control room power station. But anyway, shipmates, I will carry on following Iona around, but I hope you've enjoyed this stream. If you have, great to have you on board, and if you haven't subscribed yet, do think about subscribing, and the next time there's a live stream coming up, you'll be ready, you'll be notified. And thank you to the Spanners for being in the chat and keeping on hold of that, so they do an invaluable job. And thank you to my Patreons, continued donations, and thank you to all the PayPal donators as well. And thank you to everyone this evening for donating the chat. Until next time, shipmates.
45 VTS, all received, sir, thank you. Got the Freedom south right there, and the Iona is now Catalan downward bound, sir. Britannia VTS, go ahead, sir. Yes, sir, no, nothing until the early hours, sir. Shall we VTS, yes, please, man. Freedom VTS. Freedom VTS, in traffic update. We see the morning flight there. In which the helmet is just entering the channel by the deep water channel there. And 2200 starboard pilot. And now what's the tower that's received after the helmet, nothing else for the master. Right, fine, cheers. Thank you, sir. I own the VTS, that's all it is, sir, thank you. I've got the Morning Pride Sturbridge there, inward bound, and then Helmut, St Helens, 2200 Sturbridge pilot. VTS, that's all received, sir. Thank you. As I say, put the helm up there. And nothing else immediate for them. Britannia, Southampton VTS. Good evening again, sir. Britannia VTS, that's all received. Good evening to all and have safe passage, sir.
That's Red Jet 7, shortly departing town, keep out.
Okay, so VTS, that's all received, ma'am. Clear to proceed. UKD Bluefin, just passing the bridge. Inward bound for Junction Channel dredging. The Iona on the Calshot turn, outward bound, clear channel.
7.
The Pride approaching the Mother Bank inward bound.
Approach Mother Bank, that's all copied there, all copied, thank you.
Across my VTS, thank you, sir. Let's say the Iona is clear channel. UK Blue from VTS 406, sir. Thank you. Can't have BTS there, so sir, thank you. Pilot launch should be on his way to you very shortly. Britannia good listening watch on 12 and 09. Let's say the launch will probably on his way to you. Do not pass the pilot station to the pilot station on the bridge.
VTS, Red Falcon, Western Shelter, Western Town, please.
Red Falcon, yes, please, sir.